In this video, we are going to review the different types of percent problems that we've been working on and learn a new way that works to solve all of them, which I like to call the butterfly method. You might also hear this called cross multiplication. So for our vocabulary today, we are going to remind ourselves that our general method for setting up a proportion is to do the part out of the whole times the percent out of 100. It's really, really important for this method that you get all the numbers in the correct spot. If you don't have them in the right spot, this method will not work. All right, so let's start with a few examples and see if you can spot the pattern. So I'm going to set up a few proportions that we know to be true, like 1/2 equals 4/8. We know that's true. Now, when we go across the diagonal and we multiply, 2 times 4 gives me 8. When I go the other direction and I do the other diagonal and I multiply, I get 1 times 8 equals 8. Interesting. Let's look at another one. All right, let's say that 2/3 equals 8/12. This is true. Well, let's look at the diagonals again. This time, when I do 2 times 12, I get 24. And then here, when I do 3 times 8, I get 24. Have you noticed a pattern yet? Let's do one more. Say 5/6 equals 10/12. That's also true. Well, 5 times 12 equals 60, and 6 times 10 equals 60. Did you notice that when those diagonals were multiplied, we kept getting the same number on both sides? This is always going to be true. When the diagonals of a proportion are multiplied, the products are the same. That's why we got 8 and 8. And then we got 24 and 24. And then we got 60 and 60. Those diagonals are always going to be the same when the proportion is true. Now, hopefully you're wondering why we care. So we care because that means that if we are missing one of these numbers, let's say that we didn't know what that 10 was supposed to be, well, then what we could do is we could look at the one diagonal that we do know, that 5 times 12 equals 60, and then we could fill in, we could think, well, 6 times what also equals 60. And then we would know that that number would have to be 10. And I almost forgot to mention that we call this the butterfly method because when we draw in those diagonals, it sort of makes our little proportion look like a butterfly if you were to draw in the head with the antenna and the eyes. You can see how those are like wings. Like so, butterflies. So for the butterfly method, what we do is we identify the diagonal where we know both the numbers, so the complete diagonal, and we multiply. So 4 times 100 gives us 400. And then that means we need to know 5 times something equals 400. Because we don't know what that other number is, but we do know that whatever it is, it's going to have to equal 400 when multiplied by 5. So now I need to know, what is this number going to be? Well, one way to do that is to do 400 divided by 5. And that gives us 80. So you'll notice the steps that we did here was first we multiplied the pair that we knew, and then we divided by the number that was left. Let's try it again. Let's say we have something out of 10 is equivalent to 5/8. Well, the pair we know is 10 times 5, and that gives us 50. And then we don't know the 8, so we're going to do 50 divided by 8. When we do that, we get 6.25, which means that 6.25 times 8 must also equal 50. Okay, so now let's do a few quick examples. So this is good review for that test that's going to be on Wednesday. So first of all, there are 30 students in period 1. 14 of them are girls. What percent of the class are girls? I would like you to solve using the butterfly method. Very first, make sure you set your proportion up like this. 14 is the part, 30 is the whole, and we are trying to find that percent. So now we identify the diagonal that we know, which gives us 1400. So now we need to figure out, we know this is going to also equal 1400. So 30 times what gives us 1400. The way we solve that, we do 1400 divided by 30. So I get 46.6 repeating. So that means that 46.6% of the class is girls. All right, try another example. Also solve with the butterfly method. There are 35 students in second period. 60% of them are boys. How many boys are in the class? So first, double check you set it up right. On this one, we knew the whole and we knew the percent, but we are missing the part. So here we need to figure out 35 times 60. And I got 2,100. Which means that 100 times something must also give me 2,100, which means that 2,100 divided by 100 would give me my missing number, and I don't even need to do the long division to know that that's going to give me 21, because I can just think about moving that decimal place 2 spots. So that means that there are 21 boys in the class. And finally, 72% of students in period 3 take the bus. There are 18 students who take the bus. How many total students are in the class? On this one, we knew the percent and we knew the part, but we didn't know the whole. So let's once again identify the part or the diagonal where we know both values. That's right here. When we multiply, that would give us 1,800. And so then we need to divide by that remaining number. So 1,800 divided by 72, which comes out to be exactly 25. So that means there are 25 students in the class. All right, and finally we're at our practice problem. Complete this problem on your own. Make sure to use the butterfly method and set up your proportion carefully. Show all your work. I will check it in class tomorrow.